more. This is from Ocarina Holder. Whew. Would you rather wait another 10 years until Switch 2 but get the next mainline Zelda today, or get Switch 2 today and the next mainline Zelda in 10 years?
I
I got an
feel
answer
like
for
this
this.
is an easy answer.
Yeah, I got
Go
an
for
answer
it.
for this. I don't care what console the next mainline Zelda is on. If Nintendo was like, we're just going to support the Switch for the next 20 years and just keep on releasing like great games, great. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I don't need I don't need my games to look any better than they do right now. I really, over on the Mega Metroid podcast, Doomino Crossing swears to me that he can tell the difference between 60 frames per second and 30, and I say shenanigans because like I've been playing games like all my life, and it's like I don't know, I can't see it. So like I
Yeah.
really don't care. I do care if I have to wait 10 years for the next Zelda game. Like that's no dice for me. So I
Okay.
will, like I said, like if Nintendo was just like, we are never releasing a successor to the Switch, but we're gonna continue to just keep on having these awesome games come out, that's great. I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take the new Zelda.
So I thought this was going to be easy, but I guess not. We're going to be opposite. I would say the other way around because the question is next mainline Zelda game. So I'd rather have the Switch 2 and have ports and remakes and wait 10 years, have those tide me over and wait 10 years for the next Zelda game.
Why though?
Because I think that we're ready to evolve on like consoles, and I think that it's okay. I mean, we sat here and waited 7 years for Tears of the Kingdom, 6 years for Breath of the Wild, some odd years for Skyward Sword. So I feel like it's fine, and other things would hold me over.
I mean, I guess, but my question is like, what does being on the new console do for Zelda? Like, other than what, prettier graphics, faster load times?
I feel like we're kind of in the age where you need those things. You got to keep up with the competition.
I totally respect that, but to counter your point, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here. What console of the three is by far the least powerful? It's the Switch. Which
Yeah.
console of the three is by far the best selling? It's the Switch. In fact, you've seen the Xbox Series X, S, F, T, whatever it's called, and the PlayStation 5. Like, those are, like, not doing that well, like, at all. And I think it's actually because, like again, like, not to get on a little bit of a tangent here, my buddy Joey actually just did a video on this for Game Explain, but like you keep trying to chase this dragon of like these ultra realistic graphics and making everything look so awesome, and it's like that's what's rising up or making costs go up for developing games and for all these like long wait times and stuff like that, is because you're trying to make it look as cutting edge as you possibly can, which is great, but then like 3 years it looks dated already, and you spent all that money, all that time, and it's like I would just rather have an experience that plays great, looks like it's stylized great, just like Zelda Breath of the Wild was. Um, and I think that's enough. And I think that, you don't hear a lot of people. There's people that critique Breath of the Wild and Nintendo games in general, but like it's not like you really hear them say like, "Oh, the performance looks bad, the graphics look dated, blah blah blah."
I
Like,
hear so many people say that. I
I
personally
mean, I
don't have an
guess
issue with
I don't
it.
know.
But I do know that other people do. And for me personally, like I think we're doing well with the Switch. True, for the last 7 years. 7, right? Yeah, seven
Yeah,
years. But you want to go another 10 years with just doing well? Like, don't you want to like see how where Nintendo can go with like say, Metroid Prime 4? Like what if the Switch is like really hindering what they can do with that game?
yeah, and I mean, sure, that's a fair point. I guess, like again, to play devil's advocate, like what was the big leap between the DS and the 3DS?
The 3D.
Exactly. It was like
Mhm.
nobody cared about 3D. Like, in fact, they stopped making that. Like, the 3DS literally started selling 3DSs without the 3D feature because like nobody cared. Like,
Yeah.
yes, maybe it can run, it can run N64 games, but honestly, so could the Switch, or the Switch. I'm sorry, so could the DS. There, Mario 64 DS was one of the first games I bought for it. So it's like when you're sometimes I feel like you release a new system just to release a new system, and it's like, and I'm not saying that I don't want the Switch 2 to come out, obviously I do, and I want those
Mhm.
improvements as well, but like I think gameplay is king. I think games are king, and I think that if you have a system, even if it's dated and it has the games, like I think that's going to be what wins you the console war, rather than like 10 years without a new Zelda game seems crazy to me. Like there's no way we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is
But
already way too long of a wait.
You can't be tied over with all the like new remakes and stuff.
No, because I don't want remakes. I want new Zelda. I'm tired of remakes. I'm tired of remakes. Like we're gonna be at a point like 10 years from now. What game are you gonna be remaking? Every one of them is gonna have already been remade. Tears of the Kingdom HD.
It makes them more accessible and like nicer to play than if you were trying to get like, you have to go find what game console did the Oracle games really usually come out on? Color?
Game Boy Color, yeah.
Okay, so you have to go find a Game Boy Color or a DS, and you can't buy it on the shop anymore. So you would have to have like, oh well, you can't get a hard copy version of it for the DS anymore. So like at all, you have to get it electronically. Well, you can't get it electronically now because the shop's closed. So like, I like remakes because they make older Zelda games more accessible, and like having the NSO and being able to play the original Legend of Zelda has been like, I know you've been telling me for years to do it, and I finally did, and I love it. So like that's been like monumental for me, like reigniting my love for the Zelda series. So I feel like I could handle that for the next 10 years with a new console, and like keep like amping up the power that a new console could have, and maybe even improving like the controllers, because the Joy-Cons were so effed with all the drifting, so stop having that issue potentially. That would be really cool. So yeah, I feel like I could manage 10 years without the next mainline Zelda game.
I think you say that.
I'd complain the whole time, but I could handle it.
I think you say that, but I think that, listen, I'm a Metroid fan, and we went 8 years between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime. We went, let's see, 8 years between Metroid Other M, which was already a disaster. We went 8 years between that and Metroid Samus Returns. Like, when you go that long without a mainline entry into your series, it just kills the series. Like, it kills the momentum, it kills the fan base, You say that, but I don't think that I don't know, man. I wouldn't want that.
You're comparing apples to oranges. Like Zelda has so much built into it, and the fan base is huge, and it could carry itself. Metroid, I'm sorry to say, is not as big as Zelda.
You're 100% right. But again, one of the reasons why it's not as big as Zelda is because it skipped an entire console generation on the Nintendo 64, because we went 8 years without a new game. You know what I mean? You have to have those consistent releases, and this is like a separate conversation. I think that like the Switch as it is fine enough. It's a proven Zelda machine. It's already got all of your Zelda, pretty much every Zelda game you could ever play on there. Like, I'll take the new Zelda game, and I think that is going to be more valuable to more people than having to buy like a new system. I don't know. That's my stance.
This is a fun question.
We'll fight to the death about this, I guess. All right, let's do one more, and then let's actually. So Ocarina Holder had 2 questions here, so let's do Ocarina Holder's next question, and then we're gonna save part 2 for next week, because we got way more questions than we can answer. So let's go ahead. Ocarina Holder asks, would you rather have Nintendo start publishing Nintendo Power Magazine again, or have Nintendo make game manuals again? What a great question.
Yeah. So I never was part of that age of the Nintendo Power Magazine, so I'm going to go with manuals. Cuz I love having like those little manual books, in like I feel like Tunic kind of like did this thing where it made the manuals even cooler, so like there was like before Tunic where I'm like, yeah, cool manuals, and I didn't really get a lot of them as a kid. But now it's after Tunic, and I'm like, cool manuals. I really would love to collect them.
I think I agree. Yeah, I think I do. So I got Nintendo Power when I was a kid, like here and there. I was never like religious. Actually, I used to get EGM a lot, Electronic Gaming Monthly. So I have a lot of love for Nintendo Power. The only thing that I think about Nintendo Power that I never quite loved is like it's not an unbiased source. You know what I mean? Like it's if there's a new Mario game that comes out and they're like reviewing it, they're not going to say like, "Oh, this Mario game stinks." Like that's not going to happen, right? And I think that's kind of important for like a publication like that. Now they weren't. I mean, it wasn't like strictly just a PR magazine. There were some reviews that they did that were critical, but I think that just existed a little bit for me all the time, no matter what. So game manuals, though, I feel like are this like kind of like cool collectible, and you're probably right. Like the Tunic element really kind of upped the value of those game manuals in my eyes. So
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. And the thing about game manuals too is like you could just make them digital as well if you wanted to. So you wouldn't necessarily have to put an actual manual in. I mean, as cool as that would be, but like even if there was like a game manual, like an online version of it, like that you could just it's an option when you open your game. I think that'd be cool.
I think I'm not sure if I feel like 100% on board with that digital idea because like I feel like I would never open it digitally. I would want to physically have it in my hands. But either way, like I
Yeah.
think getting back to those manuals and like having more information to share in them is really cool because like I also like the game guides that you get like now they're like books and they're so cool looking and I really love collecting them, so I just feel like
Yeah.
I would do the same about the manuals.
I will say though, it's a tough call because like there are so many just absolutely like iconic covers to Nintendo Power. Like I think of like the Metroid 2 one. I think of the Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, Ocarina of Time's cover. Like there's just like these unbelievable covers that I don't know. There's just something so cool about like, oh, what game is gonna be on the cover this month? So like it would be close. It would be really close. But yeah, I'll take the manuals. But
Hmm.
it would be cool to see Nintendo Power, something like that come back. And there's a few like fan publications that are trying to emulate Nintendo Power, but nothing that quite hit the same way as that one did. Can we do one more question? Let's do one more because I think that this is an interesting question to kind of
Okay.
kick us off here or continue our conversation about consoles because that was a great topic. Ocarina
Yeah.
Holder, those are great questions, buddy. You did a good job there. One more. This is from Green Miner. Would you rather only play PlayStation or Xbox? Also, would you rather want Zelda on Xbox or PlayStation if Nintendo shut down? Um, to answer the second question first, it wouldn't matter to me if it was on Xbox or PlayStation. Whichever one it was on is what I would buy.
Hmm. I
Um,
I have an easy question. Or answer to this. I'm not an Xbox person. I like PlayStation. So, and I like outside of Nintendo, I grew up on PlayStation as well. Like my brothers were more Xboxy, but I was always PlayStation. So,
mhm.
I would rather play PlayStation and I would rather Zelda go to PlayStation.
I'll take PlayStation as well. I think like I think if this was a discussion in like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, that would be a close to. I'd probably have picked Xbox actually, but like the problem with Xbox is like, what are their big franchises now?
I think of like Call of Duty, Halo.
Like
That's
Halo,
it.
yes, like Halo should be the biggest series in the world. It honestly should be. Like back in early 2000s, like that series was so massive. It was so
Yeah.
popular.
That's what my brothers were into. Yeah.
Halo should be what Call of Duty is today.
Hmm.
And they messed it up and they for whatever reason it just didn't happen and Halo is a shell of its former self, which is really too bad. So Halo and that's probably their biggest series, but then you look at like Gears of War, that's not like that's lost its prestige. You look at Fable, that's like completely disappeared. You look at I mean, they've done nothing with Rare since buying them. Like nothing.
Hmm.
Like nothing, which is a crime because, I've been playing a bunch of Rare games and it's like this is the best studio in the world for a long time. Um like it's like it's kind of hard to have faith in Microsoft a little bit because they keep on buying these studios and just doing like dumb things with them and like the games just aren't there. Like there's
Yeah.
there's almost no reason to buy an Xbox other than Game Pass because it's like, well, I don't know, like anything that I want to play on the Xbox, you can almost bet that I can play it on the PlayStation as well. Whereas I'm looking at
Hmm.
my PlayStation right now, we're talking like I mean, we're talking Horizon, we're talking
Hmm.
The Last of Us, we're talking Spider-Man. Like those are some really fun games. and they're only available on PlayStation. God of War, so like, yeah, I'll take PlayStation. Again, it's more of like the single player console, which I think is why it appeals to us. Maybe Xbox is more robust online, but I don't even know if that's true anymore. Like, Xbox was the market leader in terms of online gameplay. I don't know if they are now. Maybe they are. I don't play online.
I don't do a lot of online multiplayer games, so I don't know. I just really love, like, if I could never have Nintendo again, I would stick to PlayStation. Like, that's where I would shift over to. I got an Xbox one time when I was in the military because, like, I had a few friends, and like, it was really kind of hard to make friends in the military. It was just like who you were like grouped with, and so all of them like played Xbox, and I was like, okay, well, I really want to be friends with these people. I'm gonna get an Xbox. I literally played it once and then sold it back. Like, I returned it because I was like, I don't like this.
Right. Yeah, I think PlayStation's the easy answer. They just have more exclusives. You know, that's the thing, is like, and Microsoft is trying to fix that, but they've done a poor job of doing that. So there it is. Okay, well, we're going to break it here. We will answer the rest of these questions on a later show. Like I said, we're going to be pre-recording something here because we're going on vacation in a couple weeks here. So probably you're going to see part 2 come out during that time period. We will get to your questions, and then, hey, maybe ask us a few more on the same Twitter thread. You can do that as well. Check us out over on Twitter at the Zelda Cast. And you know, check us out while you're there too, at Spateri316, at Allison Aletha. But yeah, that's going to do it for us, my friends. So we are going to get out of here. There's a new episode of the Spateri's Review that is out today, so go and check that out. Like and share and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And do the same for the Zelda Cast. Go wherever you get your podcast and do all that stuff. Like, subscribe, share, recommend. If you got that Zelda fan in your life, just be like, hey, I know a podcast that's making weekly Zelda content, so go and check us out. Hey, we got a Patreon too if you're really itching for some more Zelda Cast content. That's patreon.com/SPNet. We've also got episodes on speaking of the Zelda cartoon, each episode of the Zelda cartoon has its own dedicated episode over on Patreon. You can get that for $1, so that is cool. And that, my friends, that's it. We are going to get out of here. Thank you so much to everyone that contributed for this episode. I love doing these shows. You make it super fun and super easy for us, so appreciate that. Until next week, everybody, take care.
Bye.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.